there was this post of the speed comparisons that was done for all of the characters. And I remembered at the event, a lot of people were saying Battlefield 6 looks like it's way too fast. The movement speed is way too fast. It's too quick, right? They removed traversal sprint from the game, so that's not on the game. But you can compare it with all of the other Battlefields. And I think there's a couple elements of why people are thinking this when it's ranked. I think this is at the bottom of the list here. I don't know if there's any other games that are missing from this list, but you can see the movement speed. Battlefield 6 with your knife out. If you pulled your knife out, you did sprint. That was how you increased your movement speed. In the past, there was tactical sprint they put here. In Battlefield, it's not called tactical sprint. It's called traversal sprint. That was where you would hit shift. You would start running. You'd hit shift again, and you'd kind of do the super fast speed. It's called tactical sprint in Call of Duty. There's also, I guess, sprint perk in Battlefield 4. Even without the sprint perk, Battlefield 4 is faster. Battlefield 3 is faster. Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5 are all faster than what Battlefield 6 is on the actual movement speed. Granted, without the knife. And I thought the knife was the best way to implement something like increased movement speed versus, having a delay for, there's a slight extra delay for aim down sight speed from coming out of sprint. But if you have your knife out, you're now a dead man crossing a field if you get caught out because of the animation to swap weapons on top of the aim down sight speed that you would have to do. So you're getting the benefit of being able to traverse faster, but now it's a much bigger trade-off whether you want to run quickly or you want to just go normal speed and be ready to fight. So that, to me, makes the most sense for the extra movement speed. I don't know if you guys were okay with that, what our thoughts are in general with the knife movement speed that was in the game, because this hasn't been in Battlefield before. I think it was also dependent on weapon of what you had out, but I'm not 100% sure on that, because I know, like, LMGs, the support perk was that you would move at normal speed with an LMG out. Movement speed was perfect, in my opinion. The knife implementation was chef's kiss. Knife movement was good. Yep. So we seem more on board with it then? Yeah, okay. And we'll see what some comments say in video afterwards as well. I'm against all of it. Okay, you're out of your mind then, right? Think movement speed was perfect. Feels like SMG was a little faster. Do you think, what do you think about the map sizes? And so if that is true, if it does change with the actual weapon, then there could be variations in the speed. But this was a 100-meter test nonetheless with whatever they did test. Here's the full video here.
Hey all, SMK Gaming here. Are you interested in what the sprint speeds are in Battlefield 6? Well, this is the video for you. We will be looking at the base sprint speed and if running with a knife out is faster.
Weapon equipped, so
like
let's see.
A Usain Bolt
so here's an assault rifle.
Runner. It wasn't even close. The regular sprint speed is on par with Battlefield 1 and 5, but slower than Battlefield 3, 4. I had to do this in another map, but it was still 100 meters.
Defibs too.
There was no difference compared to sprinting with the primary weapon equipped. All exactly the same.
Between primary, sidearm, and defibs. And I noticed this too. Defibs even was not as fast as a knife. Because there was times that we were running around defib only as an entire squad, and my team was running with their defibs out, and I'd pull my knife out, and I'd catch up to them. Scottish accent's very soothing. This is SMK Gaming. It looks like he was the one who originally did the video. I'm going to give it a like and a sub here, and I'll link that as well. But this was the post that I had ended up seeing. This went pretty viral in general. Nonetheless, I think the reason that a lot of people thought this was the FOV. A lot of people default by maxing out FOV these days. And actually, I believe there was an FOV slider back in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. I'm pretty certain, even on console. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think I remember changing it back then. I played 3 and 4 on console primarily, especially off first launch for Battlefield 4 until the Xbox One. Then I played on PC. But now it is much more common that people actually know what FOV is. 110 was the top. Either way, now people know what it is way more. And so I think they're more inclined to adjust those settings. Like now the meta of looking up a YouTube video for the best settings is way more common than it was back in the day. Barely anybody did it. They just play it out of the box, whatever it was. And the wider your FOV, the faster it appears that you are moving because there's more peripheral vision and it looks like you're going off of speed boost without it. So I think that at least is one of the main differences with it. I think the other element though is that the maps are just smaller. So if you're able to move across a map quicker because the length is smaller, you're going to get the same effect of thinking that things are faster because they're more close together. There's more cover. You're not having to run across a gigantic open field. Some of the maps on, like when you're running through the trenches in Battlefield 1, it felt very open because there's no cover as you're crossing from trench to trench or going across an open territory or even running across the desert. Same thing in 2042. There's some gigantic areas to where it probably makes sense to have the players run faster because there's so many giant areas that they have to actually cross over. Like, you kind of need traversal sprint because you're going to be sitting there running for such a long period of time that's my guess of why at least a lot of people thought that. I will say, I think a lot of those comments did die down after people were playing it. That has not been one of the biggest criticisms that I've seen of the game as it was when I played it and did that first live stream showing the gameplay. A lot of the comments, people were really worried about the movement speed. Everything seemed too fast. And I think not having tac sprint or this traversal sprint is very interesting because I don't know if you guys have seen some of the leaked information from Call of Duty. Granted, I don't know if any of this is true, but there's been a lot of leaked stuff coming out. I even saw a post from JGod today saying that there was some type of creator event that a bunch of people went to that gave some extra insights, and maybe that's where all the leaks are coming from. But they said that tactical sprint is going away from the new Call of Duty as well. So Call of Duty is clearly making some adjustments to try and stay in line with Battlefield here. It seems like at least a pretty big coincidence to me that when Battlefield announces they're doing these things, they're going to have secure boot on their game, a stronger level of anti-cheat than Call of Duty. Call of Duty says, we're going to do secure boot too, guys. We don't have tac sprint. We're getting rid of tac sprint, slowing the movement down, which is something Call of Duty's been criticized, though, even independently of anything like Battlefield for the last year, especially with the switch to doing omnidirectional movement. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's the movement speed. We'll see where it goes.